Tim, it's
Guy,
Wednesday. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
You're laughing. It's a weird day. So the
Weird
market
stuff
we're going
going
to
on.
talk
Yeah,
about, but it's a
right.
weird day. It started out weird. I watch the Squawk Box in the morning, as you know. I'm sure you do as well. From
Love
6 to.
Squawk Box. I mean, what's not to love?
But today, there's always something brewing there. But today it sort of boiled over, and Andrew Ross Sorkin and Joe sort of went at it in a pretty public way. You know what? It is what it is. It's all good. I love both those guys. But that started the day. And then Dave Portnoy, this Barstool Sports gentleman.
Yeah, that's the El Presidente who spent a lot of time on our show, man.
He's crushing it in the market now, by the way.
I mean, he's Mr. Boeing, dude. I mean, that guy. My guess is he was going back to the mill one more time, and I think he nailed it on this one.
He caught it.
Yeah,
good for him.
Come on.
He's printing the Benjamins, and he's very vocal about it. But on the Twitter,
is he getting himself into a little dust up out there? A little dust up.
Ross Gerber Kawasaki, basically gave him.
First of all, you mentioned Ross Gerber Kawasaki like I'm supposed to know who that is.
No, you should use the Google machine. But it's a very Dave Portnoy, big following. Now it's a very public thing that people are talking about. So that's the second spat of the day. But the biggest spat of the day that might be actually news to you is, if you recall, last week we had a great interview and we talked about Mr. Rocket, Mr. Ricky Rocket.
Ricky Rocket, yeah. Well, Eric Sherman manages Poison, and obviously those guys were on top of the world. And what we are hearing about what Ricky's doing is he's probably a better entrepreneur than you and I.
No doubt.
In addition to his drum and chops.
But what I'll tell you is, just to give you the triumvirate of dust up.
Apparently, there's something coming my way now.
Mr. Rocket has challenged you to a Zoom drum off.
Oh boy. Interesting. Well, first of all, are people doing Zoom drum offs? I mean, and this is going to be kind of like what was it in Zoolander when they had like a pose off, or what was that called?
Well, but there's a funny thing that proper decorum prohibits me from talking about. But let's put it this way.
What am I doing right now?
You're twirling your pen. Right.
It's a lot easier than twirling a drumstick. Twirling a pen.
Well, make it stand the reason.
So my understanding is, and I'm just catching up with the tweet here. The Rocket is pretty much saying, "Look, man, if you can't outdrum me, let's at least teach you how to properly twirl a stick." Which I'm all for that, man.
I think the Rocket. There's nothing cooler than watching a drummer, in the midst of some great solo, just sort of twirl his collective sticks. But I bring up all this angst.
No, I hear you. There's
another day, market's just exploding higher, and are the bears now capitulating with frustration, and is it empowered the bulls, whereas nothing can take the market lower? Is that some sign of anything in your estimation?
Well, and if you think about the market itself, and if you think about the escalating tensions between the U.S. and China, which we've now talked about all the time, and now this is, we're going for a vote on sanctions probably as we speak down in Washington. I mean, the tension is creating the wall of worry that somehow we climb when you let the tension off. And it's amazing, because I think this is what we were doing back in trade war times. So, look, I think as it relates to the market, we hear about all this retail money that's on the sidelines, and that 2 weeks ago, when we were well into this recovery, and in fact, we were probably around 29 and a quarter on the S&P, we are hearing that the sentiment in the retail community, as measured by these AAII bull bear measures, were about as low as they had been since the lows of March. And this is now 30% higher on the S&P off of those intraday lows. So what does that tell you? First of all, it tells you that appropriately, a lot of folks at home were scared, and based upon the dynamics we faced and have never faced in this country, I think they were right to be scared. You also saw what liquidity can do in the backstop, and as much as we've had plenty of ammunition to throw at the Fed up until COVID-19, we ain't seen nothing yet, because this was just extraordinary. So the Federal Reserve responded in a way that no one had ever seen, and I'm not sure that that's good, frankly. New Jersey just raised their prices on tolls 36% today, pal. I think you live in the Garden State, no? And I think you come into.
Slow down for a second. See
that? I hate to give you the news flash, buddy boy, but that like armored Mercedes you drive is going to cost you a little more loot going through the Lincoln Tunnel. So how's that feel?
In the course of 30 seconds, you palled me, and then you backed that pal up with a buddy boy. And
I like to slip in as much as I can.
I'm telling you, there's something. It's that Mercury Gatorade thing going on because people are wigging out today. I mean, it's a weird day.
I'll tell you. First of all, I'm pissed off. We've had the 2 nicest days of the spring have come after Memorial Day weekend. My hay fever is killing me, so I'm fired up, man. I've got some what do we call what am I taking? What is that allergy medicine I'm taking? Zyrtec. I am Zyrtec right now, and that might be a term because I think people are I think they're tense. But I think you're right. There's anxiety over missing out in the market here, and I think there's anxiety over the reality of money is not free, and we're going to all pay for this. And if I ever had a night to put on my "Where's My Bailout" T-shirt, this might be it. Right now, if I did that, if I started taking off my shirt, you'd unfortunately see more chest hair than you want to see right now. Yeah, I said that. But you're half Sicilian, so you probably have more.
Well, just to end it, let me say this: I would save the chest hair for Mr. Rocket.
For the Rocket, yeah.
Because I think you can somehow, maybe you can blind him with that, and he'll be thrown off his game. But I, for one, am looking forward to the Ricky. Is it Ricky Rocket? The Ricky Rocket, Tim Seymour drum off. And I'm going to troll him violently now on the Twitter.
All right, man. I hope I don't let you down. But I mean, at a minimum, I'm gonna come with my A sticks. So
right. You could be like the guy in Happy Days.
Like sticks, yeah. Although we should probably not talk about that. Was kind of a controversial Happy Days, if I may. Who's the leader of that gang in Happy Days? Bag was leader of the Demons, who were not a very.
I think he was on 3 episodes of Happy Days.
Close on this. How absurd when you think that Henry Winkler, the Fonz, was this badass dude that somehow people were scared of. I mean, I realized he had a cup of coffee in the Lords of Flatbush, and I realized, but and I know he jumped the shark and whatnot, but I'm sorry, I'm not. I loved the Fonz as a kid, and I know you're a big Chachi fan, not as big as Joni was. And on that, let's get out of here. Get out of here.
I think that's a good idea. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you.